The first message came at 2:17 a.m. I didn't hear the notification at first. I was lying on my back, staring at the ceiling, watching the slow sweep of headlights crawl across the walls from passing cars outside. Sleep had been avoiding me for days, ever since the hospital, ever since the machines, ever since the sound of one long, endless tone that meant nothing in the world would ever be the same again. My phone buzzed softly against the nightstand. Once, then silence. I ignored it. I'd been ignoring everything. Calls from relatives, texts from classmates, the group chat that had gone painfully quiet, except for the occasional "Are you okay?" that no one knew how to answer. The phone buzzed again. Something about the second vibration felt different, longer, heavier, like it wanted to be noticed. I reached over slowly, my hand trembling the way it had been doing since the funeral. The screen lit up, pale blue in the darkness, and for a moment my eyes refused to focus. Then they did. One new message. From Maya. My chest forgot how to breathe. For a few seconds, I just stared at her name. The same contact photo, her laughing in the sunlight, hair blown across her face, eyes half closed because she never liked bright light, but always insisted on outdoor photos anyway. My first thought was simple. Someone else has her phone. Maybe her parents. Maybe the hospital staff returning belongings. Maybe. I opened the message. Open the door. The words were plain. No emoji. No typo. Exactly how she used to text when she was serious about something. A cold feeling slipped quietly into my stomach. I told myself it was nothing. Grief does strange things. Phones get borrowed. Numbers get reused. I locked the screen and set the phone face down. My heart kept beating too fast. 3 days earlier, I had been sitting beside Maya's hospital bed, counting the seconds between each rise of her chest because the doctors had stopped promising anything, and started speaking in soft, careful voices. She looked smaller in the hospital bed. Not physically, just distant, like someone already halfway somewhere else. I held her hand and told her stories she already knew. About school, about the stray cat behind the cafeteria, about the time we got lost on the bus and ended up laughing so hard we missed our stop on purpose. She didn't laugh this time, but her fingers squeezed mine once, weakly, and that felt like hope. The machines kept making their quiet, rhythmic sounds. Proof she was still here. Proof the world hadn't broken yet. Then the rhythm changed. I remember the nurse calling for someone. I remember being gently moved aside. I remember the sound, that long, flat sound that erases futures. I remember screaming her name like it could pull her back. It didn't. My phone buzzed again in the dark bedroom. I didn't want to look. I already knew what name would be there. Still, I looked. Maya. Please. It's cold out here. My throat tightened so suddenly it hurt. This wasn't someone returning a phone. This wasn't a mistake. Because Maya hated the cold. She always carried an extra sweater, even in summer. She used to steal mine in class and refused to give it back. No one else would write that. A quiet, impossible thought formed in my mind. One I tried to crush immediately. This isn't real. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I typed 3 words. Who is this? The reply came instantly. You know it's me. My hands began to shake. I told myself I was dreaming, sleep deprivation, grief hallucinations, anything that made more sense than this. I stood up and walked to the window. The street outside was empty, washed silver by a weak street lamp. No one stood on the sidewalk. No movement. No sign of life. My phone buzzed again behind me. I turned slowly, like turning too fast might break something fragile in reality. Why won't you open the door? The words felt heavier this time. Less like a message, more like a question asked from very close by. I looked toward my bedroom door. It was closed, just the way I'd left it. A memory surfaced. Maya knocking on my door after school, shouting my name through the wood because she never waited patiently like normal people. I swallowed hard. This wasn't her. It couldn't be. I typed with numb fingers. Stop. This isn't funny. 3 dots appeared. Typing. Stopped. Typing again. I'm scared. Tears blurred the screen. Because that was the last thing she'd whispered in the hospital, barely audible beneath the machines. I'm scared. I had told her I was right there, that nothing bad would happen, that she wasn't alone. I had lied. My chest felt too tight to hold air. I couldn't do this. I couldn't keep reading messages from someone who didn't exist anymore. With shaking hands, I opened the contact options. Block caller. My thumb hovered, then pressed. The screen went still. Silence filled the room so completely it rang in my ears. For the first time in days, my breathing began to slow. A fragile, guilty relief spread through me, like closing a door on something painful. It's over, I whispered to the empty room. My phone remained dark on the bed. Seconds passed, maybe a minute. Then, buzz. I froze. Another vibration, longer this time, closer. I looked down slowly. A new notification glowed on the screen. One new message. Not from Maya. From me. My own contact. My own photo. My own number. My heart stuttered violently. Hands numb. I opened it. 1. Message. Just 4 words. I'm already inside. The air in the room changed. Not colder, not warmer, just wrong. Like the space around me had quietly shifted while I wasn't looking. I became aware of a sound behind me. Soft, uneven, breathing. My skin prickled. Very slowly I lifted my eyes from the phone. The bedroom door was still closed, but the closet door was open. Only a few inches. Just enough to reveal darkness inside that looked deeper than it should. My lungs refused to move. Another message appeared on the screen. You said I wouldn't be alone. Tears spilled down my face before I realized I was crying. I didn't mean... My voice broke into nothing. The breathing from the closet grew slightly louder. Not threatening, not angry, just sad. Like someone trying not to sob. My phone buzzed again. Why did you let me die? The words cut deeper than fear ever could. Because this wasn't horror anymore. This was guilt. This was every helpless second in the hospital, replaying with no way to change the ending. I tried, I whispered. I stayed. I didn't leave you. The closet door creaked open another inch. Darkness shifted inside, and for a moment, just a moment, I thought I saw the outline of someone small, sitting on the floor the way Maya used to sit during sleepovers, hugging her knees when she felt sad. My heart shattered quietly in my chest. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so sorry I couldn't save you. The breathing stopped. Complete silence. My phone vibrated one last time. I looked down through tears. You didn't have to. A pause. Then the final message appeared. I just didn't want to be alone when it got dark. A sound escaped me. Half sob, half something breaking loose after days of being trapped. Because I had been so focused on the moment she died, that I forgot the moments before. The fear, the waiting, the loneliness. Slowly, I lifted my head toward the closet. The darkness inside looked empty now. Still. Ordinary. Like nothing had ever been there. Warmth touched my cheek. Not outside, but inside. The fragile beginning of something softer than grief. My phone screen dimmed in my hands. No more messages. No more vibrations, just silence. But this time, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt like goodbye. Morning light eventually crept through the window, pale and quiet. I hadn't slept. But for the first time since the hospital, the tightness in my chest had loosened enough to let me breathe without pain. My phone lay beside me, dark and ordinary again. No messages, no proof, just memory. I opened our old chat, scrolling through years of jokes, photos, and late-night conversations about futures we thought we had forever to reach. At the very bottom, nothing new. No 2 to 17 a.m. messages. No final words. As if the night had erased itself. My eyes filled again, but gently this time. "Goodbye, Maya," I whispered. The room stayed still. No breathing, no shadows, only quiet morning light, and the faint feeling that somewhere she wasn't scared anymore.